All right, book review time. This is the book. The Friends of Eddie Coyle, George V. Higgins. So this was recommended by another crime thriller author, except I can't for the life of me remember who. So if it was you, let me know. Um, I'm glad I read this. It's this. So this is the debut novel for George V. Higgins, and it is written in the published in 1970. And so, I mean, when this thing came out, I was several months old at this point. I was born in November of 1969, and so I didn't buy this when it first came out. I wasn't like, Mom, Dad, I'm 6 months old. I got to buy this book. And I've heard this name when they mentioned this, when that whoever that author was, I can't remember who it was. Um, and I don't want to just start. I just don't want to start name dropping. But it was an author that maybe you know. Okay, I think it was an author that I did an interview with on this YouTube channel, maybe, and they were tossing out more names after the fact, and they were like, "Yeah, did you read that?" I'm like, "No," but I know the Friends of Eddie. I know the I've heard this title before many times, and they're like, "Yeah, you gotta read this book." So I read it, and I'm glad I did. So this is the debut novel of George V. Higgins. He was an assistant U.S. attorney in Boston. So according to this little write-up thing I found, the novel is a realistic depiction of the Irish American underworld in Boston. Its central character is the title character Eddie Coyle, a small-time criminal and informant. And it was also adapted into a film in 1973, directed by Peter Yates and starring Robert Mitchum. So again, this is probably a movie I need to look for. In fact, I might look for it and watch it tonight, or definitely this weekend coming up. And you know, reading a book. I mean, literally reading a book that's 55 years older or more. It's a microcosm of the times. Okay, it is a set piece of Boston in 1970. There's a lot of things in there that you read, and I'm like, oh, okay, they're naming places, they're naming ideas and stuff, and I'm like, that stuff's been gone forever, and which is great. It's part of the charm of the book. You know what I mean? You're definitely taken into 1970 Boston. Okay, the way the people talk, the way the police talk, the way the Irish mob, all of it. Okay, we're talking about. I'm not a gun person, and there's a couple of passages I should have put a sticker on, but basically they're like, it's a gun guys trying to buy guns. He's like, I need 357s, I need 38s, I need 20s, I need 40s, I need 30. He's naming like all these numbers, and I'm like, I guess these are all guns. You know, uh, machine guns, M16s. They're looking for somebody who's looking for M16. So it's very interesting. It's a lot of different characters. You're reading along, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, that's a cop, or oh, that's a whatever, or this person knows Eddie Coyle how. So it's very interesting. Uh, Realistic, unglamorous. You just know that not everybody is going to get to the end unscathed, which I think is great. It also says it was in sharp contrast to some other gangster novels of the era, particularly The Godfather, which is a more romanticized look at organized crime. So, right around the same time that came out in 72. This movie came out in 73. They did a movie version of this book. I like it. What's funny in this one is One of the characters is named Jackie Brown. And I think that's kind of that's kind of interesting, right? The Jackie Brown, the obviously the Tarantino. What is it? Tarantino, the Tarantino book based on Rum Punch by Elmore Leonard. Speaking of Elmore Leonard, he does the foreword in this book, Elmore Leonard, and he says that George V. Higgins, this is the greatest crime novel he has ever read. That's high praise from Elmore Leonard. Greatest crime novel he's ever read. So, as soon as I started reading, I'm like, Jackie Brown. Why do I know that name? Oh, because I'm guessing Elmore Leonard liked the character's name. Who knows? Who can say? Obviously, Tarantino did because he made a movie. So it's a pretty good book. It says the novel was an instant success. Elmore Leonard said that The Friends of Eddie Coyle was the best crime novel ever written, though Higgins hated being classified as a crime writer. According to Leonard, he saw himself as the Charles Dickens of crime in Boston instead of a crime writer. He just understood the human condition, and he understood it most vividly in the language and actions among lowlifes. So, I mean, it's good. I mean, it's just really good. So I guess there was even a stage play at some point. Also, the character Eddie Coyle bears an uncanny resemblance to ex-con William Billy O'Brien, one of Whitey Bulger's old bank robbing associates who had been murdered in 1967, 3 years before the book's publication. During the making of the movie, little aside here, in the Boston area, actor Robert Mitchum, who was cast as Eddie Coyle, was interested in meeting the local gangsters as part of his research into the part. He wanted to meet Whitey Bulger, was warned against it by Higgins. They actually did socialize, though there is doubt that a meeting between Mitchum and Bulger ever took place. So, interesting stuff. So it's seen some reprints. Again, this edition is with Elmore Leonard doing a very nice introduction in the front. George V. Higgins, tons of books. I'm gonna do the old man glasses thing. 72. So this is the first book he ever wrote, and then the last on this list is At End of Day in 2000. Okay, so let's get a little bit about. He died in 1999. He was born November 13th, 39. So he was 59 years old. He was a Massachusetts guy. He was an American author, lawyer, newspaper columnist, raconteur, and college professor. He authored more than 30 books. He's best known for The Friends of Eddie Coyle, which established the Boston noir genre of gangster tales that spawned several popular films by followers the late 20th and early 21st century. So, great stuff. Yeah, it looks like he had a collection out posthumously. He wrote a writing book called On Writing in 1990. I've heard that name somewhere before. So, in closing, sometimes the dialogue back and forth was hard to follow. Again, you're talking something that was written 55 years ago. So there's... I'm just going to read you like a couple lines. Just to get kind of a feel for the dialogue. Machine guns, Jackie Brown said. The only thing that's more of a machine gun is the Colt, the AR-15. But those are pretty good. Want to see one? No, the stocky man said. Fill the goddamn bag. He began lifting bags of bread into the trunk. Jackie Brown put the shopping bag of sidearms in the cart. You set now? He said. Why'd you put a couple loaves that bread on them? Why aren't you put a couple loaves of that bread on them? The stocky man said, case anyone gets curious. So it's a lot of that. It's a lot of words jam-packed into one another, I will say. Good stuff. I'm probably going to end up at some point reading some more George V. Higgins, especially anything he's doing in crime thrillers. And I'm gonna look up the movie. I might have seen it. I might have seen it years ago. It's a Robert Mitchum movie. The chance that I've seen it is probably 50-50. So there you go. The Friends of Eddie Coyle. I will give it a 4.1 rating. It's a solid, a little bit more than just a 4 out of 5 rating. So I'll give it a 4.1 rating. And again, I like the story. I like the characters. The dialogue, the choppy dialogue for me slowed it down. But again, 50-something years ago. So, and when I was like 5 and 6 months old, I probably wouldn't have understood half of this book. Maybe less than half of this book. Who can say? So there you go. The Friends of Eddie Coyle. Check it out. Do me a favor, hit the subscribe button. If you like this review, I do a bunch of other book reviews, mostly crime thrillers, some horror books that I've also read, and subscribe to the YouTube, follow along, watch all of the book reviews. There's a playlist of them. You can just watch all of them. They're all like 10 to 20 minutes long, somewhere in there, and you will be helping me out. I would greatly appreciate it. So thank you for your time. A lot more book reviews are coming. I promise.